Every single question you ask ChatGPT leaves your computer, goes to their servers, gets stored, scanned, and sometimes used to train their next model. Your private notes, your work documents, your personal thoughts, all sent somewhere else. Now imagine the opposite, a full AI assistant that lives entirely on your Linux machine, completely private, completely offline after setup, no accounts, no subscription, no data leaves your house. That's AnythingLLM. It's a beautiful desktop app that turns Ollama, the open source AI engine, into something you can actually use every day. You can chat with it, talk to your PDFs and notes, let it speak with a real voice, and even have it create and save files directly to your hard drive. But a quick reality check before we begin. Running AI locally requires some hardware horsepower. You will need a decent GPU, and 8GB graphic card is the sweet spot for what we are building today. Today I'm showing you the exact way I set this up on Linux Mint, step by step, skipping the complicated Docker setups, even if you've only been using Linux for a few weeks. And if you use Arch or Fedora, I've dropped those exact commands down in the description. By the end of this video, you will have your own private AI running right here on your desktop. Let's do it. Before we open the terminal, you need to understand how this works. Think of building a local AI like building a car. First, you have Ollama. This is the engine under the hood. It does all the heavy lifting and runs the actual AI models. But by itself, it's just a raw terminal that isn't very fun to use. That is where AnythingLLM comes in. AnythingLLM is the dashboard and the steering wheel. It's the beautiful desktop app that sits on top of the engine, giving you the chat boxes, the file uploads, and the buttons. So our setup is simple, two-step process. First, we need to install the engine, and then we install the dashboard. Let's start with the engine. The engine runs the AI locally. It's called Ollama. Open your terminal and pass this single command to securely download and install it. Hit enter, type your password, and let it finish. By default, Ollama is locked down and won't talk to other desktop apps. We need to open its network settings so AnythingLM can connect to it. Type this command to open the configuration file. Inside this file, pass these exact two lines. Setting the host to 0000 acts like an open door, ensuring the two programs can communicate freely. Save the file and exit. To apply those changes instantly, refresh your system and restart the Ollama engine with these two quick commands. The engine is now ready. Now we need to load in the actual AI. Type the Ollama pull command. We are specifically choosing this new model because it is incredibly fast and perfectly optimized for the AnythingLLM agent tools we will be using later. But if your computer has more VRAM or slightly less, you can absolutely experiment. I've put a list of the best recommended models for every hardware size right here on the screen. Finally, we need a document reader. Type this Ollama pull command. This downloads a specialized embedding model. Its only job is to scan your PDFs and text file and turn them into data that AI can understand. It is way better than the default built one. Now for the dashboard. AnythingLLM offers a Docker version, but we are specifically installing the standalone desktop app. Why? Because Docker is meant for a massive multi-user web servers. The desktop version runs natively, requires zero complex networking, and gives you a built-in screen overlay that Docker version doesn't have. To install it on any Linux distro, ask this command to grab the official installer script. Next, type the chmod command to make it executable, and then run it by tapping the /installer.sh. Watch the terminal closely. If you are on Linux Mint or Ubuntu, it will ask to create an AppArmor profile, so the app has permission to run. Type Y for yes. When it asks if you want to start the app now, type N for no, so we can cleanly open it from our application menu. Now open AnythingLLM from your application menu. On the welcome screen, hit get started. It will try to analyze your hardware and auto-suggest a model, but we are going to skip that. Look at the very bottom and click manual setup. First, we connect our chat brain. Select Ollama from the list of providers. It should auto-detect your local URL. But if you installed Ollama on another computer in your house, you can just type its IP address here. Select the Ministrel 3.8b model we downloaded earlier and click next. Click next through the data handling and privacy screen and skip the optional survey. Now let's configure the document reader. Open the settings gear in the bottom left. Select AI providers and go to embedder. Change the provider to Ollama and select our Nomic embed text model from the drop down. Finally, I highly recommend changing the max embedding chunk length from the default value to 2048. AnythingLLM chops your documents into chunks to feed them to the AI. Leaving this as the default can sometimes cause the AI to throw an error when uploading large PDFs. Lowering this helps prevent those errors and actually makes your AI much smarter at finding specific answers. Click Save Changes. Now let's give your AI a voice. Under the text-to-speech preference, choose Piper TTS. We use Piper because it runs entirely on your local machine and generates audio almost instantly. Just pick your favorite voice from the list. Click Save and your local AI can now physically talk to you. Now for the best part, turning the AI into an active agent. Click the back arrow to return to the home page and click the gear icon next to My Workspace. Go to the agent configuration. First, we need to tell the agent which brain to use. Under the provider dropdown, select Ollama and make sure our Ministral 3 model is selected. Click Update Workspace Agent. Now click the Configure Agent Skills button. This is where you give the AI its superpowers. Turn on Generate and Save Files, Generate Charts, and Web Search. For the search provider, I will choose DuckDuckGo. I use it because it is completely free, respects your privacy, and doesn't require any annoying API keys to set up. Click Save in the top right, go back and click into your workspace. Your completely private offline ultimate second brain is officially ready to use. Now that we are set up, let's see why this is a game changer. Most people wouldn't dare upload their raw bank statements to a cloud AI, but here you can drag your private financial documents directly into the workspace. Because we changed that embedding chunk limit to 2048, the AI can now scan through large amount of pages of transactions locally. It finds exactly what you are looking for without a single byte of your financial data ever leaving your house. Let's put those agent skills to work. Instead of opening 20 browser tabs, trigger the agent. But here is a good tip: asking an 8 GB model to search, read, format, and save all at once overloads its working memory and causes hallucinated tool errors. To prevent this, we use the two prompts method. First, isolate the research, ask it to just search for the best noise cancelling headphones and compare the specs in a chart. The AI uses DuckDuckGo to find live data and builds a custom comparison chart just for you. Now for step 2, we explicitly isolate the save command so it doesn't get confused. Type a follow-up asking it to invoke its save file to browser function. It doesn't just give you text, it physically reaches out and saves a markdown or CSV file directly to your computer. You now have a permanent offline record of your research that you created without ever leaving the chat. For our final use case, let's push the AI to build a clean visual web page from scratch. We are going to use a simple two-step method. First, trigger the agent and ask it to pull live data on the top self-hosted apps this year. Once it grabs that live data, we move to step 2. Drop the agent tag so we are talking to the standard chat and ask it to write our HTML file. Dropping the agent tag ensures the model stays completely focused on writing pure clean code. To bring it to life, simply copy the code block, paste it in your standard text editor, and save it as an HTML file. And just like that, your local AI researched live data, wrote the code, and handed you a beautiful formatted web page in seconds. And that is the complete setup. You now have a fully functional AI workstation running locally on your Linux, capable of handling everything from document analysis to live web research. If you run into any issues or have questions about specific models, drop a comment below. All the commands from today's video are in the description. I've also done guides on setting up syncing and image if you are looking to build out more of your local infrastructure. Thanks for watching.